Hello, I'm Josephine Sellers and I'd like to welcome you to the Awakening TV channel. Today, it's our great privilege really to introduce and interview Marie Laywine. Marie is an artist and we're interviewing her today in her atmospheric studio in the beautiful village of Abbotsbury in Dorset. So welcome, Marie. Lovely to come here today. Thank you for letting us do this interview. I've seen your work for many years, past that beautiful studio in the village of Abbotsbury. So I want to let you elaborate. Tell us about yourself, where your origins, what made you move towards art for your career, and where that's taken you in life.
Thank you. Thank you, Josephine. I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy to talk about my passion, which is art in life and life in art. My origin go back to a very long time ago because I'm getting on in years. I remember in elementary school, I'm from Canada, and the school system there is quite different from the school system here. And I remember an older pupil showing me a drawing that she had made. And as a 7-year-old, I looked at the drawing and thought to myself, I could do better than that. And then in grade 8, my teacher introduced me to painting. Yeah. And something wonderful happened.
What do you think was happening?
I went into a different world. So she had set up a still life, and it was a basket of flowers, and I became the flowers. I became the basket. And I was away.
Lovely.
Yeah, yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
A rising of the creative spirit.
Yes, are just entering what I called the creative space now. I didn't know what it was then, but now I know it's the creative space, and in the creative space I touch the fire, the creative fire.
Beautiful.
Yes. It's an experience as a child you never forget because it is magic.
Beautiful. And so we can talk now about the inspiration behind your work.
Yes. I work from, because the other thing I do is I dream profusely, and they are very real, and the colors are, again, magical. And I decided to go from my dreams, because in art school I had a tutor who taught me how to begin to use the dream for painting. And that was, so I work from what I call the interior landscape. Yeah. And then I use my ideas, images from my dreams to represent visually my inner landscape, but also the landscape of the imaginary.
What a beautiful gift to have those dreams. Not everybody's blessed with such beautiful dreams. Some say they don't dream, but there was an access for you.
Yes. And magical. It was just like that.
Beautiful.
And it was very natural.
Yes, how lovely. It sounds a very beautiful process.
It is. Painting is, I couldn't live without painting because it's so rich and it's so expansive. Yes. And you keep changing because you've described the image, and that leads you to something else. And if you follow the thread, it takes you on a wonderful journey.
You've travelled quite a bit, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
And do you think that has enhanced the potential?
Well, the designated spaces in the world was given to me through the dream. So I also follow the dream.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean it says you will be here.
No.
What it says is this is the next area. So, like with Brittany, I had to look at my connection with Brittany, and it was King Arthur. So I have to find the place in Brittany that is the closest to Arthur.
And then go there.
I go there.
Feel it, dream it.
And also to be absorbed by it.
It's fascinating.
Yes, and there I discovered working with symbols, because the Breton people, well, this was in 1980, were still working with symbols. And it was the one place in the world where it was reasonable and understood what it's like to work with dreams.
Huge.
Oh, of course. I mean, in Canada, it's, we're talking about surrealism and all this, whereas this is the symbol in everyday life.
Yes.
Which is
an archetype for life.
A symbol, because the symbol speaks immediately.
Internally.
And it may evoke the archetype.
Yes. Wonderful.
It is.
It's deep, fascinating, and seen here.
Yes.
And seen here. Do you want to talk a little bit
Yes,
about...
what I'd like to talk about, using these two images, is how I begin the exploration.
Yes.
And I call this the prelude, because the prelude in musical terms means something as an introduction to something greater.
Yes.
Something along those lines.
Yeah.
And the idea of the prelude came from wanting to understand more, just to go beyond the symbol.
Yes.
Because the symbol was speaking to me about something more.
Yeah.
And so to be able to understand what, or to connect with what it was trying to tell me, I had to find a way in.
Yeah.
And so the prelude, the idea of the prelude emerged from that.
Firstly.
Yeah.
And then you'd move on.
Yeah. So what I did, the starting point was to record the dream. And then from recording was to separate the objects from the dream landscape.
Yes.
And then on another piece of paper was to identify the feelings evoked by the objects in the landscape. And then on the third piece of paper, I brought together the objects in the landscape with the emotions evoked.
What a wonderful way to paint. What a wonderful way to...
Yes, but it took 3 years to develop the technique.
Yes,
and
understandable.
And to see how it works. Yes. So what happened from there was, so it took, there's 105 of these.
Preludes.
And then it took 3 years to really refine the technique, make it work most times. And then there was a huge lull, which is what happens, because something else was happening in my life. And just recently, it's time to take out the preludes again.
Yes.
And so the prelude became the painting.
Yeah.
And I started to look at the difference.
Yes.
Because there's quite a bit of difference. In here, you have a blue body.
Yeah.
In here, it's turned red. But the red here is coming from the mouth, from the heart, from the genitals. So it started to tell me that whatever it is, it's very strong.
Yes.
and then from the mouth, the need to speak, and the tension in here
Tight
is not being able
to
to.
speak. It's beautiful.
Mm.
It's beautiful. You're bearing your inner soul onto the canvas.
I am.
So you're quite exposing, but how beautiful if someone comes and you sell them, obviously.
Yes, yes.
So you're selling a part of your deep. It's taken a long time to. What a lovely story behind anything that someone then goes and takes and cherishes and hangs on their wall, and just in itself a process for them to understand it all.
Yes, and on a different level,
Yeah.
with perhaps less understanding, there's a connection.
There is a connection, isn't there?
There is a connection.
A universal connection.
That's right.
It's coming through. It's absolutely beautiful. It's magical.
Oh, it is.
That's really
And
wonderful.
you see,
yes,
here,
yes.
the
depth,
yes,
the richness.
but what happens is it's found a way,
And it's freer.
and it's freer.
It's freed up.
Yeah, there is tension, but it's more positive. Here, it's a holding back. Here, touching the fire is
Yes.
only halfway, you know, where it's tentative.
It's a courageous journey, really.
Oh, it is.
It's a courageous journey and has to be taken at your pace.
Yes.
But fascinating. I've never heard anyone explain how they've come up with with this sort of thing to see. It's lovely. It's beautiful.
Yes.
I love it.
Now, when these happened,
So you've got 150 of these.
105.
105 preludes. How many have gone through to?
That have been sold, about 10.
Okay, so you've got masses to explore.
Yes, but then the ones that went, I will not be able to explore
No.
like this. Or I may through photographs, but
Yeah.
it's a different thing having the real thing there. And I'm able to explain this because when I came to England, I did an art therapy training, and in the art therapy training, I learned the words.
Yes, because it's hard to put words to what's going on.
Yes.
How
If you don't have them.
No, you don't know. No vocabulary to explain.
No.
But of course,
You do
wonderful. So that you've done this from your heart, from your soul, from your dreams. You've found yourself into a process of life. You've then gone to look at art therapy.
No. It
To
was
study it.
imperative.
To understand yourself.
No. To find the
The
word.
words to describe the process.
Yes.
Yes, I see. Okay, so we'll move a little bit into so tell me, in the times that you've worked as an art therapist, where you've come from such a foundation within yourself, explain how I suppose you facilitate a space for your clients to possibly undergo the same sort of journey.
Well, I'm always for expansion of ideas, of feelings, of experience, of doing, to expand it, to understand it, to choose it, and I think for my clients, I feel that as I teach them how to begin to explore these things, to keep journals, to record dreams, to bring dreams, it begins to open up a space where the creative fire is highly valued.
Yeah, it's very moving. I feel quite moved talking. Me too. I feel like something's opened up here. It's very moving. It's obviously huge. You've touched something in me that's capable of touching every. I actually am feeling what you're talking about. I find it quite moving.
Excellent. That's excellent.
I don't know if I've ever experienced that before.
Yeah.
What a gift! What a purposeful life you've led.
Oh, of course, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Not easy because there's hard decisions to be made.
It's quite pioneering too, isn't it?
Well, I thought it was at the time, but I think my work is just beginning to find its place.
Yes,
you know.
I think there's a huge place and a huge crying out in humanity to find that place within themselves, and for the world to find its place.
Yeah, or for peace.
Yes,
when you think this is so positive, so it doesn't interfere with others' lives. And when you think of all the fighting and you just say, come and I'll show you how to explore a different way of using your energy.
I agree. I mean, before we came for the interview today, I was just talking about this feeling within myself that if we could only understand ourselves better as individuals, collectively, we could transform the world, but we are so hemmed in. So it all starts in childhood, in these for me, the creative pursuits in childhood.
Yes.
Be it music, be it art, anything that we can express our true spirit and soul.
Yes. Well, the other thing about the creative fire.
I like that term.
I do.
Fire.
It's
scary too.
Well, of course,
yes.
And it's also painful.
Yes.
Because you could burn yourself.
Brilliant.
Yes, but if you burn yourself, it's choice.
Yes.
But the thing is, the creative fire is not only in the arts, it's in business, it's in the way you conduct your life on an everyday basis, the way you cook your food, the way, what you surround yourself with, your vocabulary. It begins to be a way of life. And if it's a way of life, there's no room for fighting because you're interested in what the other person has to contribute.
Truly beautiful, truly lovely to hear, but we know it's true as well. That's the nice thing. It's an inner truth.
Well, the other truth is that it's so much easier.
Yes.
You wake up in the morning, it's a beautiful day. Not, I don't want to get up. It's easy. It's a new day. It's still raining, but let's see what happens.
Yes, yeah.
It's a curiosity about your environment, how you can help it grow instead of diminishing.
From within. And so for people who live in very constricted and, materialistically environments, in concrete jungles, that's walling in, but from within there's a potential to access through just putting your hand to paper.
Yes. But there's also the creative fire is available for everybody. So everybody has the potential.
So that's the lovely, that's the great message, isn't it? Even in the prison cell.
Even
everywhere.
Because
it's not limited to who you are, where you're born, or your position in life. It's your birthright.
Yes, that's right. Your birthright.
Your birthright.
Yeah.
Truly beautiful.
Yes.
We've covered so much, so succinctly, really. But is there anything else, Marie, you'd like to add to the interview, or do you feel you've?
No, what I would like to add is that following the dream is not as difficult as what most people think. Most people say, oh, it's all right for you.
Most people dream to a degree.
No, but to even follow the dream.
Following the dream from the initial part. Would you think the start is, you spoke about journaling? You've got to get that. You've got to get it out while it's there. That's the seed.
That's the
kernel.
seed. And if you move it from your head
Yes.
onto something concrete,
Yes.
like writing,
It lets the flow through.
yeah, but you've realized it already, and it has a greater chance of growing. The journaling keeping a journal is imperative.
And that's really quite important, and for people in life in general.
Yes, yes.
Because once it's down, it's acknowledged, it's in this world.
Yes.
And sort of lets the
It's
floodgate releases a floodgate of
opens
potential.
the gate.
Yes, okay.
Okay. And it moves from the inner landscape into the exterior landscape.
And so, for the benefit of the viewers today, who,
Yes.
it'll be of interest. We've given them the potential to open the door, maybe a little,
To open the gate.
and see where
Yes.
and that in its way, hopefully to enhance their life. Which I suppose people who come into art therapy release their potential
They just
to
explore
understand, to explore,
Yes.
to make life more colourful, meaningful, purposeful.
To be able to just live in the world in a more harmonious way, so that instead of a reaction, you're getting a response.
Yes,
or instead of me giving a reaction to whatever is happening, I'm able to respond.
Yes.
And that's the difference between peace and conflict.
I think that's a really nice way to end this interview, don't you? With that,
I do.
It's been really enlightening to sit with you. Felt quite moved by it. So the content is wonderful. Thank you, Marie, for letting us come here today.
You're very welcome.
To Abbotsbury, Dorset.
To Abbotsbury. Abbotsbury is a very spiritual
just
place.
to drive across the hills and
Yes,
see it.
yes.
That's a process in itself,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes.
Thank you, Marie. Thank
You're
you very
very
much
welcome.
indeed.
Yeah.
That was wonderful. I'm a bit phased out by the interview myself today, so I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope there's a spark of magic that you can take from watching this today. We'll see you again soon.